I'll do my, because they won't let me have one of the, the clicker things, because I'll be like Pac-Man playing with it. I will get in trouble. Are you kidding me? If you ask April, I talked to her yesterday. You can ask April. When I do the drumathon, they're like, watch Rick, because he'll end off on some tangent and everything will spiral out of control real quick. I'm like a 3-year-old. Don't let me play with boogers in the sandbox, because I'm building sandcastles.
It's okay. It's okay.
Hello, Dallas, Fort Worth, and the rest of the world. This is Rick with Concert Connection, sponsored by PMC Entertainment. And I'm on, I'm a drummer, I count, and I'm on I don't know how many days of isolation. And this week's guest is Miss Lori Peters. How are you, Miss Lori?
Hey, good. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. If you were not aware, even though we're in self-isolation in our houses, you can still go into a deeper sense of isolation where everyone in the house revolts and they lock you in a room where you're then isolated from them as well.
Yeah, and my husband and I, we have a 2-story house, so we can get pretty far away from each other if we have to. But so far we're all healthy and we're good, so there's no need for that.
Good. And pets, your pets they're sane still?
Yes, we have one dog, and he keeps us entertained.
I think both my dogs are now siding with my wife. Every morning when I wake up, I tell people, and they think I'm kidding. I see all 3 of them staring at me. The wife, I'm sure, is like, should I suffocate him? And the dogs are like, do it. We want inside of the bed.
You have 3 of them?
No. Well, no, there's my wife, and then we have 2 dogs, just 2.
Oh, okay.
And what's funny is, I think you saw it. I took a picture last weekend. I was bored. I did a selfie with one of my dogs, and I said, let me see your fur babies. And I was blown away, absolutely blown away at how many people posted pictures of their pets. I was holy cow.
I mean, I don't know what I'd do without him right now. He's like, if I need extra hugs, I'm just like,
Oh my God. So it's like, oh, what was her name on the cartoon? She's like, I'm going to Elmira you. I'm going to love you and hold you and squeeze you.
Yes. I remember that.
And your dog is like, oh my God, here she comes again, run.
Yep.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a mutt. He's like a mix of probably like a shepherd and a collie maybe. But we rescued him, so.
All my dogs are rescue. I'm a huge dog rescue guy.
Yes.
I'm a mutt, so yeah. I'm half German, half Mexican, so I mean, come on, I'm down with it. Oh my Lord! So you guys are doing good though. You're nice and safe and healthy.
Yeah, healthy for the most part. We can't complain. We've had a rough couple of years. I'm sure we'll get into talking about this with breast cancer and knee surgeries.
Yep.
So it's been a little rough, but we're hopefully going on the uphill now.
But you're doing good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good. It's funny that we're interviewing. And I just talked to April about this. For those of you that don't know, I guess we can go ahead and talk about Lori. You are a breast cancer survivor.
Yeah, I am.
Which is how we met doing Drumathon last year.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard. I've talked about it, but I haven't really talked about it, if that makes sense. Like, I haven't really, I don't know how to, it's kind of saying, hey, I'm a breast cancer survivor. Is it still a very new concept to me?
We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
I don't mind talking about it.
Because
I really don't.
Okay, again, I'm an idiot. Sometimes I miss the notes, the memos, and so if you don't want it, you go, Rick, no. And I'll be, okay. And then Amy will come around the corner probably and throw stuff at me and be like, hey, moron. But it's ironic because I was talking to April, and just yesterday, I talked to a dear friend of mine from high school. We have been best friends since we lived in Bermuda together, okay? That's how, 30-something years. And his wife, he just found out she has stage 2 breast cancer. And and he's like, Rick, I know that you've been a supporter of Breast Cancer Can Stick It for a few years. I'm like, absolutely. And he's, believe it or not, I've made a lot of friends, but it's the first person that's a part of my life that had a long-term, intimate part of my life that has breast cancer, and it was like a kick in the stomach for me because, and I've been telling everyone, it doesn't matter. Wake up, open your eyes. 1 in 8 women, less than 1% of guys, but it's going to touch your life, and arm yourself with education. I mean, is that a fair statement?
Yeah, and my awareness before I actually had breast cancer was like little to none. I'm embarrassed to say. You know, like October would roll around, and you know, I love football, and you know, they would, you know, the players would wear pink or whatever. Like that was pretty much the extent of my awareness of it. And like I said, I'm kind of embarrassed to say that. And my sister has lived with a different form of cancer for a long time, so we would do like Walk for Life and stuff like that. But specifically breast cancer, my knowledge was way less than I expected it would be. Like when the doctor told me 1 in 8, it like blew my mind. Even though I feel like we're inundated, even like, you know, commercials or awareness, like, it's out there, but it wasn't getting into my head for some reason.
And I think that's okay, because I think we all cross bridges in life, you know, for a reason at a certain point. And, you know, the fact that, unfortunately, I mean, I'm not glad that it happened the way it did for you, but it's just like anything. We cross the bridge for whatever reason. And it's not just breast cancer, it's anything. You have that awakening and that awareness, and you go, okay, I get it now. You know, I mean, we're still downloading information every day. So, you know, I think I guess it made it kind of like, it probably made it a lot more real, and you had to do an immediate cram session, like, oh Lord, you know, how do I deal with this?
Yeah. It was exactly like that for me too. And it took me probably a good half of the year to get to a point where it was diagnosed, and then surgery was scheduled, and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, thankfully for me, I was at stage 0, which it was caught very early, you know, thank God. And, I mean, not to get too much into the physical parts of it. I mean, the best option for me was to have a full mastectomy, get it out. And, you know, the doctor presented all the options, and I was like, all right, well, this is what needs to happen. I, you know, accepted that and did it. But it was a lot more of an emotional roller coaster than I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
I mean, you don't know, and none of us know how we're going to deal with adversity until you're put in that situation. I mean, we can all daydream about, this is how I would do it, but until you personally are put in that situation, you don't know. And honestly, you seem like you have come through with flying colors. I mean, you seem resilient.
Well, thanks. I mean, I had my moments, and I feel like I've been on this, just to give you a little bit of like a timeline. So I guess my resilience was already it's maxed out. Because my mom had cancer. And she, you know, a different type of cancer, but she dealt with that for about 2 years, and then she passed away in 2017.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that was rough. So my sister and I were already going through that. And then the next year, in 2018, I was diagnosed.
Oh, my Lord.
And my sister's been dealing with another type of cancer for 30 years. So we're like, can we just get a break? And I had already seen my husband through 1 knee surgery. So these things are overlapping. So I'm grieving for my mom. I'm getting my husband through a knee surgery. I get diagnosed with breast cancer. And then I'm in the hospital for about 2 weeks. And then when I get home, about, I don't know, a month later, he's got to have a second knee surgery.
Oh, my Lord.
And I'm still recovering. So there were four months, like the end of 2000, 18 into 19, where my husband and I were home together for 4 months, not working.
Oh,
So much, much like the world is right now. Everybody's home.
so it was like a prelude to sheltering in place like we are now. You're like, we survived that. We'll survive this. No big deal.
Yeah, totally. And then now here we are at a third knee surgery for my husband.
And how's he doing? Is he doing good?
He's doing okay. The bigger part of the story is, like, it was a simple meniscus tear.
Yeah.
And it was on the job at work. So you've got the whole workers' comp aspect of it. But the thing that came to a shock to both of us is what's called CRPS, which I didn't know what that was.
What is that?
It's chronic regional pain syndrome.
Okay.
And his body just flared up really bad after the second surgery.
Okay.
And it's when your sympathetic nerve system won't shut off.
So you're just in pain all the time?
All the time.
Oh. Okay.
And,
I call that getting old, but his is on a different level.
Yeah, he's 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
But I mean, it affects people of all ages, but it's unrelenting, just pain all the time. So he's having to learn how to manage that.
Yeah.
So he's off his crutches now, but he's still having to deal with the pain. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody, because nerve pain is just horrible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a 50-year-old guy, I will tell you, yes, I have pain. And a lot of mine is snowboarding related. Stupidness, living up in the Northwest, by the way. He'll be resilient. He's a Seahawks fan. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope so. He's having to learn through physical therapy, how to just move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because from a medical aspect, like, his knee is good. It's healed. There's nothing else with that. Or orthopedically, he's okay. But yeah, and I can sort of sympathize, because I have some nerve damage and I'm numb from the mastectomy. And it's created some anxiety in me that I've never had before in my life. I've never dealt with anxiety.
Oh, wow.
I've played in front of thousands of people. I mean, you get nervous sometimes.
Yeah.
This is like a whole different weird thing. It kind of stinks. It keeps me up at night sometimes.
I deal with it constantly. I've had anxiety my whole life, and I'm like you. I've played in front of thousands of people, and that's easier than waking up and dealing with your inner voice all by your lonesome. And it's I don't know if you know Chuck. He's a local drummer here in Dallas. He plays in a Metallica tribute called Kill 'Em All, and I know that he deals with again some anxiety and some depression. And he and I've talked about it, and it's something that I've dealt with, and I think that I've talked to him. I want to get together and maybe do some PSAs. Actually, like, let's have a conversation, so that because other people out there, I guarantee, are going through what we are going through on not just anxiety or with April, it's doing breast cancer can stick it, but we all have issues, and we all think, oh my God, how my little world, how do I deal with it? And we all deal with the stress differently. Me, I go beat the living snot out of a drum set, and I feel better, but it doesn't, those early, 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. hours where you're laying there, staring at the ceiling and just inside your brain, it's exhausting. So
it really is. Yeah.
How much of being a drummer was huge therapy for you coming out of surgery, dealing with all this? Was that a big part of it?
Well, I mean, I didn't realize how much having a mastectomy kind of jacks up your shoulder.
Because of the muscles.
Yeah, I mean, no doctor really explained that to me.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go above 90, for a few months. I was in physical therapy every day, or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So I didn't really play for a few months, but
okay.
Drumming really is more in the wrist than it is. I mean, you got to be able to come down and hit, but
I've heard that, but if you watch me play, you'll see I'm all arms. And really, I should learn to use my wrists, maybe. But yeah,
but it's more fun. I do it too. You come down, you got to come down hard. You know, we're rock drummers.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the downside to that is cymbals get expensive. Like, especially the rate at which I break them, they become really expensive.
Yes.
And I'm not endorsed, so
I used to crack them too all the time in Skillet.
So you open the door. Let's jump into that. You want to talk about that? Let's talk about that chapter.
Yeah,
so we'll call it a chapter.
Sure.
Let's talk about the Skillet years. Phenomenal memories.
Yes. I was with them for about 8 years, so 2000 to 2008.
Nice.
I moved down to Memphis in like the end of 1999.
Yeah.
So I was just moved in there, and it was like the whole Y2K, you know.
Oh my God, that was nothing compared to what we're going through now. And I remember stocking up on toilet paper then.
Yeah, all our computers were going to crash and whatever.
No, the whole world was going to die. Is
Yes.
what we were told. I mean, literally. And what's funny is, I don't know. I'm assuming where you are that people are hoarding toilet paper. You know, like.
Yeah, it's calmed down a little bit, but yeah, like 2 weeks ago, you couldn't find it.
We shop at Costco, so that has not been an issue for us at all. Because if anybody knows, you go to Costco to get, one thing, and you come out with a pickup truck full of crap. Literally, that it's like, oh my God, they've got dumplings. I want to. You have one sample, and you're like, I'll take a case of those.
But they did away with all the samples, though. You could at our Costco.
You can't do that here. Oh, I won't even go.
Yeah.
I haven't really been out in a few weeks. Yeah. Other than I look like I'm robbing a bank when I run up to go get something from the store. It's which is awesome. Somebody put a post the other day. It used to be frowned upon to go out with a mask, duct tape, rope, gloves, plastic bag. You were considered a serial killer. Now it's like standard operating procedure.
Yeah, it's weird for sure.
So your 8 years with Skillet, you guys played some phenomenal shows. Being on the road, it's a tough lifestyle for those that have never been on the road. Tough lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a huge sacrifice. I mean, I've dealt with some things. I mean, we've got some stories. It's worse than not having toilet paper. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the conditions we had to play in or travel through or just endure through. I mean, it's a love-hate. It's
horrible at the time, but you can talk about it with smiles later.
Yeah. There's
like a badge of honor.
Totally. Like when our tour bus got stuck under the bridge at O'Hare Airport in Chicago.
Oh, Lord.
That was a fun morning.
How do you wake up from that? Like, wait, before we deal with this being stuck, can I get some coffee?
We were actually, it must have been afternoon because we were on our way to the airport and we were all like in the living room watching a movie. Yeah. And then suddenly like the air conditioning unit completely falls in front of us and we're like, what just happened?
Didn't do it.
That was not a good morning. But stories like that, I mean, I've got a lot. That's probably one of the worst, but.
Yeah. Tell me some of just give us a couple highlights. What were some of the best tours you guys did playing with, like as far as lineups?
Oh
favorites?
Man. I mean, probably the most memorable because it was one of my last was Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, like co-headlining, and then Seether, and then us. So that was a cool
right
tour.
there. Seether.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Seether fan. I think if my wife ever met Sean, she'd dump me and she'd be like, bye-bye. And she's a huge Seether fan.
He's a nice guy. I didn't get to interact with him too much, but I did meet him and had a few conversations with him. But
so you were in Skillet again, basically in the early 90s, all right, early 2000s. From 2000 to 2008, correct?
Yeah.
So coming off the post post-grunge era, which, you know, I spent my whole 90s in Seattle doing the grunge thing, you know, and it was a great way for, as a young budding drummer, to cut my teeth. You know, I've told folks the story. I got lucky, got to practice next door to Nirvana. You know, got to know the guys in the Presidents, you know, Jason, the drummer.
Yeah.
And at a young age, what I realized is all these big musicians, they're just you and me. And it's funny because I meet people and they're like, oh my God, who have you met? Like, who was your big crush? Like, and not so much crush, but just rock star moment. Mine was when I met Duff McKagan. And I was like, because I was a Guns N' Roses fan, I was like, Duff. It wasn't even the guys in Nirvana. It was Duff.
Oh yeah.
Nice
Man.
guy. Who was your big moment? You're like,
Man.
or have you even had one?
I'm sure that I do. I guess if I'm thinking about drummers,
Yeah.
We didn't play with them, but I was in the Memphis drum shop one day, and Matt Cameron walked in, and I had that moment of just like, is that Matt Cameron?
Nice.
It's
phenomenal
like
drummer.
you're so in shock you almost don't recognize them, but you do somewhere. You're like, and so yeah, I got to meet him there, and it's like I didn't even think, like, I'm in a drum shop. I didn't think to grab a drum head or something for him to sign. But I got to meet him anyway.
It's funny you say that because I don't know if you remember this back at Drumathon. First thing I did, I grabbed a set of drumsticks. And I'm like, please sign the sticks. And it's almost just inbred in me now. Like, here, will you sign the sticks? Just because that's what we have in our hands usually, are drumsticks.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know, and he is such a phenomenal drummer. Really nice guy. Really nice guy. Used to see Kim Thale, guitarist for Soundgarden, up on Broadway. Just, you know, out and about. Just normal guy. Just.
Yep.
And that's what I always tell the younger kids that I meet. They're like, oh my, you really? They're people like you and me. I promise you. They're not like, oh my Lord. You know, they've got wings and, you know, lightning bolts coming out of their eyes. I mean.
Yeah, it's probably people who aren't musicians. Maybe I'm kind of just speculating here, but maybe people who aren't musicians where they are more starstruck.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, maybe if I met a famous actor, I probably would be a little bit more starstruck than I am with like a rock star.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess maybe in my youth I was a little different, but I guess as we get older, I just realized we're all people. I mean, it sounds goofy to say it that way, but you know, we're all people. It's the first famous person I ever met was General Colin Powell.
Oh wow.
And he and his wife, right after high school, because I graduated high school in Bermuda, I lived there for 3.5 years. I got a job at the American Consulate. So my first summer out, you know, I'm mowing yards at the American Consulate, at the residence. And he was there for a month on vacation. And every morning, his wife and he would go for a walk down to the beach, and they would stop and just talk. Nicest couple, nicest man, very intelligent, very articulate. And I was just like, oh my Lord, I know who you are, you know. But just, again, it was that he just was very real. And I guess that's just kind of stuck with me forever.
Cool.
Right behind you, I noticed a beautiful DW drum set.
Yes.
Is that your drum of choice, DWs?
Yes, that's my baby. That's the set I bought when I joined Skillet.
Nice.
It's like a what is it? The Pro Series.
Yeah.
All maple, silver sparkle, crop matching snare drum.
Nice.
And, yeah, I had it out on the road with me, and when we got off the road, here it sits, and it's kind of
just like the stories it could tell.
Right. Yes. I've had standing water sitting in the drum shells before because we were doing a festival and just got slammed with a rainstorm, and of course nobody's helping me.
Yeah.
There's nothing to cover my drums with. Like, these are the things you learn as
you're a drummer.
After that, we went straight to Walmart or whatever and bought like tarps because the venue didn't have anything, the production team didn't have anything, and I was literally like throwing my drums into the cases.
Yeah.
And thankfully they didn't get ruined, but man.
You're going to laugh, but I keep 55-gallon garbage bags handy for, and just in case I need to, because I have the SPK, you know, the hard cases, and just in case I need to, I can throw the drums in that, put it in the cases, and you know, when I get home from gigs and whatnot, I'll take them out. I'll let them sit in the front of the house and make sure that they dry because I'm a little princess. I want my drums to be taken care of, and I won't leave them in the truck.
Yeah, this must have been early on when I was on the road because I learned very quickly. Okay, I'm gonna have to be responsible for this because everybody else is gonna be running for their stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's the curse of being a drummer, I think. You know, we're the first ones there, last ones to leave. We got more gear to haul than anybody, and
totally.
we run the show. We are the heartbeat of the band, and we
true.
don't get any glory for it. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
No, you told me earlier, that you started out playing like you were 13 when you started playing, correct?
Yeah, roughly.
What was it? How did you get into drums? Were you like, ooh, loud, splashy, I want to play drums, or were you forced to go that way?
Well, I had my first drum set when I was probably like 5. I had one of those little Kmart,
Nice.
drum sets.
Yeah.
But my dad worked third shift, so my mom would never let me pursue it. So I played piano for a few years.
Yeah.
And I hated that. And finally, like around junior high, I just begged and begged and begged, and she let me. I saved up my own money, bought this drum kit from a neighbor kid, and I didn't get into school band until probably 9th grade, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
And then I started to take a few lessons here and there, and then played all through high school, and played a lot in church. Honestly, I mean that probably in my after high school and through my 20s, that's the main
church
place I played was church, and then a couple local bands with Corey Cooper because we grew up together, and she's the guitar player for Skillet.
So it wasn't till your late 20s, early 30s that you really got into like, hey, we're going out and doing this.
Yeah, so I joined Skillet in around 2000. So
you don't have to give your age away. You get.
I don't mind. It's on my Facebook page anyway. So.
Oh, everything's on the internet.
Yeah. But yeah, I just did local stuff. We only played a few clubs. We didn't really play out a whole lot, so to speak. So until I really auditioned for Skillet, I wasn't like traveling or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. How's that for a crash course into the music biz? Like, you're going on the road.
Yeah. I moved to Memphis. John Cooper said, here's the practice space. I spent like a month in this warehouse, 8 hours a day, just going through the songs, getting ready for the tour. And the woodshed, as they call it. I literally was. And I did that for a whole month. And then we had like our CD release party in Memphis a month later. And then it was
off to the races.
Hit the road. Yep.
Yeah. Same routine when you go in the studio. Do you just cram for studio sessions?
Not in a different way. It's a whole different animal. I feel like it. We would. I mean, John would write songs, and he'd bounce ideas off of us, and then we take the time off the road, and we kind of would cram a little bit.
Yeah.
We'd set up in the studio and then kind of run through some things and see if they had like some momentum behind them. Like, is this something we're gonna go with? And then it was kind of just take off from there. Throw down some scratch guitars or whatever, and just do it.
When I was in Quickie, we did a lot of recording with Kelly Gray, and he would always come into the studio, and it was always, we did threes. It was just our personal way. We'd go in the studio, and even if we had the whole album, we knew we wanted to do it. It was, let's go in, we're going to finish these 3 songs, then we go back, we're going to do the next 3. So we might have 20, 30 songs, but it had been narrowed down to, we're going to put these 10, 12 songs on the album, and then we'd start going to the studio and crunching them out in groups of 3. And literally it was make sure we catch the drums. Once the first day of recording is always, once we get the drums on all these 3 songs, I sat around like a dork, like watching everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there before.
Yeah. It's wait till the next time for me to do my little thing. And, it's I love studio, but there's nothing, and it's so much fun. But I will tell you, me personally, there's nothing like the getting on the stage, and even now, just doing local stuff. There's nothing like just playing a gig and getting to interact and entertain people. I love it.
I do miss that because we have our studio here now, so I like I said, it's 2 different animals, the studio and then the I love watching the progression of like creating it, laying it down, and then bringing it out to the fans. It's a whole different experience. But I really love the recording process because we get to go first, being the drummer.
Hallelujah.
So you get to hear everything from the ground up. Yeah. And that part I really miss.
So as we talk about, let's talk about what's going on right now. Yeah, your current endeavors. So you get a smile on your face all of a sudden. You're like, oh yes.
Yeah, I mean we're trying. Like I said, it's been a rough couple of years, but we finally have the studio up and running. And right before my breast cancer surgery that was August of 2018. Yeah. A friend of ours wanted me to play on his EP. So we kind of use that as like a dry run. Okay. Because my husband's been, he does all the engineering, and so he was kind of learning all this stuff as we go. And he's the brains behind all this. He's got it all up and running and all the technical stuff.
I'm just the drummer.
Totally. That's me. And so we wanted to. I want to play on people's music because I love the recording process. Yeah. So we found this. I'm sure there's tons of other sites out there, but we found it's called soundbetter.com. And it's just you create a profile and people can look at your work and read about you. And so I filled out the whole thing to become like a premium member. Nice. Like anybody can sign up and it's free, but to be a premium member, it's like so much per month and you get more visibility. Yeah. So I'm on there now. I'm still on the waiting list to be like a premium member.
They've got to vet you first.
Yeah. It's just a long process because there's so many great drummers out there. Oh yeah. They don't want to oversaturate the market, which I get it. But we're trying to get more jobs that way because you just do everything remotely. So if somebody in Germany wants me to play on their album, I can. Yeah. Which is really cool. So we kind of got that going, and we've gotten a few jobs here and there. Yeah. And then, of course, my husband not only engineers, but he produces and writes his own music. So that's what it's brought us up into this point where we can actually, we released a song. And I saw that. That was a whole process because of my husband's knee complications and the pain. He's literally been home out of work for over a year, probably more like a year and a half or so. Yeah. So I'm just really proud of him because he's utilized that time to learn about the studio engineering, how to mix, how to do all these things. He hasn't just sat around and been depressed and, woe is me. So
I think you have to. I think you have to. I mean, I don't want to dwell on where we all are right now, but in all honesty, I mean, I have a full-time job and I have my show, and unfortunately, I'm just dying to get with the band. I do a Green Day and a Billy Idol tribute. I would love to go jam, but I understand I want this all to go away. Be patient, be diligent, stay home, do what you can so that we can get over this and get back. Because I'm itching. I am itching to get back on stage. Sure. I posted a picture the other day. I went up to the studio, I did a selfie because I hadn't been up there. And rocked out. And it's funny, people were messaging me like, Rick, you need to go live and like do some drum solos and like play. Let us play. It's like, maybe, maybe. I just, you know, it was my time I needed some rhythm therapy, as I call it. So
yeah, that's how I feel right now, because I feel like I've had to wait to really. I mean, I've had my drum set down here. I can play. Yeah. But so we've been married 7 years. So it's taken the length of our marriage to get to this point where we can actually record professionally sounding music and release it. So I'm kind of like, ooh, what can we do next? Yeah. Because I've waited so long to get to this point, because I mean, not to like dig on my husband or anything, but I was already at a professional level, and he kind of was at a beginner level. So we've kind of like, I had to kind of wait for him to catch up on some things.
That's okay. You know what? That's okay, because you are going to put it on stage, right? You guys are going to go out there and you're going to do some shows.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think at this point, I really don't think so. It's more of like you say, like, it's been a therapeutic thing for Chris.
Okay.
And a learning process to learn how to, the technical aspects behind recording. And it's helped him to be able to connect with people online. Like Andy Van Dett Andy Van Dett mastered it, which he's mastered some Skillet songs in the past. Yes. But to have the access online to these professionals who can, you know, do this kind of stuff is really cool.
You realize what a small interwoven planet we are. I mean, really, all of this has really just, with technology and just everywhere we are, what a small planet we are. And even though you may not put it on stage, you know, everybody's doing the live streaming thing. You guys can get a cajon and, you know, an acoustic.
I mean, I thought about it. I mean, maybe we'll do like a YouTube thing. Who knows? I don't know.
Have you been watching some of the YouTube stuff? It's phenomenal. I mean, people are coming out of the woodwork, and you're like, oh my Lord. I've been doing my show for a couple of years, and I got to be honest with you, it's been nice to sit back and just watch everybody go, ooh, oh. I love it. I love it. So
there's so much out there to watch. It's like
exactly.
I mean, I guess people have hours to watch at this point in time, but sometimes I get too overwhelmed. I'm just like, I can't keep up with all this stuff.
Yeah, I know there is. And it's funny because there is so much, so much. It's like a fire hose coming at you that you almost, you get what you can get, and you got to go forward. So it's, oh my Lord. My dogs just came rolling in here. I'm sorry, they're attacking the camera. You're like, oh my God, it's not an earthquake. My dogs are like, hey, Dad, what's going on in there? What are you doing? Oh, the loveliest. Man. So, what do you have planned coming up here in the near future, other than we're quarantined? Anything else other than your current project? Are you guys you think getting back out there at all?
I was bringing this up on my iPad. This was the whatever drum tutorial that I did.
Oh yes, thank you, because I was going to ask you about that. That was literally like my first real YouTube endeavor. Yeah.
And you know, we don't have great cameras or anything. I mean, we've got great audio, so the audio I think is really good, but so to kind of promote Chris's song a little bit, I'm like, let's just do like a little drum tutorial and whatever. I'm not expecting a whole lot of people to see it, but
you never
want to find it.
Well, when you get, you know, when it's ready, whatever you have, like now, you just have the one, correct, right now?
Yeah.
Post it on my pages for folks here in Dallas. You know, I mean, we'll share it. I'll put it on Concert Connection and on In the Pay with Rick. Please. Yeah. Absolutely. It's funny because I'll go grab and I as much stuff that comes through, I'll grab Rich's stuff, you know, because Rich Redmond's got his show, and I'll grab it. I'll share it over, you know, and it's
he's got so much stuff, man. He's just like,
yeah.
He's so much energy. He's got about as much energy as you do.
Oh my Lord. And it's funny because, the other one that I watch a lot is Tiny's always on. He's on a couple of, over at the Boom Room. And I'm like, holy cow. It's, and I will tell you, I thought that life would slow down at some point. I would get older, and it hasn't happened yet. I'm still.
Hey, that's good. That's a good thing.
No, some days you're like, oh my Lord, please. All the energy, because I'm like this fidgety little squirrel that you just fed espresso to.
I was looking for this is Chris right here.
Oh, yes.
This is his Spotify account. So Emerald Escape is his band name, so to speak, his artist name, and then we released it to all like the major streaming platforms.
Cool.
So that's going to be one of our things going forward, to hopefully, like, we're already working on a new song that he wrote for me, based off of my experience with breast cancer. So that hopefully that'll turn out good. So far so good. The drums are done, so now it's just he gets to add all the candy to it.
Well, anything that you guys put out, you are more than welcome to always share it to our sites. For those of us that are here in Dallas and Fort Worth, and please post it. We'd love to have it. It'd be awesome. Yeah. So before I let you go, what do you think? You're going to try to make an appearance maybe this year? I'm not sure if you're going to be a guest or not, but at least come down and enjoy the day of pandemonium in the park.
I would love to. I mean, hopefully all this COVID-19 stuff is, done.
Great point. And it's funny because we're on YouTube surfing how to make masks, because you can't get them. We have a few masks, but it's like, I've ordered some. They're probably coming from China, so I may not be able to use them. And again, I lived in Japan. We moved there from like 76 to 79 because my dad was in the Navy. That's why I got to live all over the world. And when they got sick, even in the 70s, when people got sick, they wore the mask, and that's considered social norm. And I know some people think that I'm a freak, and I'm a pretty common sense guy, but I don't want to get sick. I don't want my family to go through it. So I am social distancing from everyone. Not that I don't love my bandmates. I love my family members. But I'm really, other than my wife and son, I haven't even seen Mr. Rose. I'm staying away from everyone just because I don't want to get sick. But in my little world, I have a feeling having masks and wearing them in public will probably become very acceptable. Because this is probably not the last time. And I don't mean to be a doomsday sayer, but the world we live in, we are, again, so interconnected.
Yeah.
It's, with the amount that we travel. I was just on a cruise ship. We left. I played Lava Cantina on Valentine's, got up, slept for like 3 hours, got up, we flew to Miami, got on a cruise ship. I got off the boat, and the very next day, somebody got on, they had it. That's how close we missed it. And
you crossed my mind several times because I knew that we were going to do this interview shortly after you got back from that. Yeah. And I thought to myself, thank God Rick made it home before all this stuff.
But we almost did. And the sad thing, and I will tell you, being on the boat, everywhere you go, they've got the little stations. You put your hand out and it gives you sanitizer. And before you go into any of the restaurants, they have people there wearing masks with spray bottles. You put your hands out, they're spraying your hands down. They've got wash stations everywhere. And it wasn't as bad as it is right now. And they were already hyper aware of, we need to make sure that you're clean and sanitary. And I came back and I had that conversation with a couple of my bandmates. I'm like, so when we play gigs now, when this does start to abate and we get to go back and we get to start, do we still have to social distance? I mean, and I'm a huggy guy. I give everyone hugs. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
Do we have to now change how we are?
It's going to be interesting to see what the world is like after we emerge from all this, because something like this will probably not happen again in our lifetime.
I hope not.
So, I really hope not too. But I hope we all come out loving each other more. It's been nice not hearing about school shootings.
Yes.
Not, you know, I don't know.
You're right.
I could go off on so many different
go down the
bunny
list
trails
and
on
we'll be
that,
here
but-
for hours.
Yeah. So I just hope the world is changed for the better and just appreciating the people that we have. And I don't know.
I know that
It's
your
gonna
house
be
is clean because you guys have been probably getting rid of everything and you're going through everyone's house is going to be clean. But tell me one thing at home that's changed from before you quarantined. Anything?
Well, like before we went live here, my day-to-day hasn't changed that much because I also work at Amazon.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm still working 40 hours a week out in public.
Yep.
And I mean, they're doing a great job trying to keep us safe at work. You know, we don't have to wear masks, but a lot of people are.
Yeah.
And I started to last week. So, and you know, Chris has been home because he's not able to work, and it hasn't really changed that much for me. But the social distancing at work, is probably the biggest thing. I'm like, okay, this is just really weird. And of course, you know, the streets are kind of empty, and you know, the schools are out of session. So those things, you know, I come home and I watch the news and I'm just like, it's hard not to get a little choked up about it.
I'm trying not to. I'll be honest with you. I am catching the news, but I'm trying to, because I will have anxiety for hours on end, you know, and yes, I'm a mortgage analyst. I write loans for people. So I'm working too. I mean, my life hasn't changed other than I'm home all the time. The one thing that I will say that has changed for my family is we now sit down every day and have lunch and dinner together. And we haven't sat and had regular meals in a long time. And I love it.
Yeah.
And the 19-year-old, the kid, the other day turns to my wife and I and goes, "Put the phones away." We're like, "What?" He goes, "Put the phones away. We're having a family meal." And I'm like, well, "Wait, who pays the mortgage here?" He goes, "Put the phone away." I'm like, "Okay, whoa, don't get hostile."
See, those are the types of things I hope continue, that families have realized, that have brought them closer together. And I really hope we don't just go back to the way it was and just let life pass you by. And you know,
At dinner last night, my wife made from scratch chicken parmesan. Okay, and we were sitting there having dinner, and I said, you know, because we take a lot of vacations. I'm pretty honest with everybody. I don't say a lot about it, but I tell everybody I'm going on vacation because I believe in, you know, I work to live. I don't live to work. You know, I do my job well, but I take time to smell the roses. And I just said, "Amy, I'll start with you." I go, "Well, what was your favorite memory of our trip to Cabo 2 years ago?" And just as family conversation, just reminiscing about some of the fun things. And, you know, we were talking about our highlights, and my son, his highlight, believe it or not, my wife was, you know, going into San Jose del Cabo, because we got out of Cabo, to do the art walk, which was phenomenal. You know, all the little paintings and glass blowing and whatnot.
Yeah.
His was sitting at a bar having a drink with me because he was legal, 18, he could drink in Mexico. So sitting at a bar, legally having a cocktail with me, even though he got a pina colada, but they had drawn a penis on top of it and stuck the straw in it. And he felt awkward about it. I'm like, "We're in Mexico. It's okay. Don't worry about it." And my favorite memory was, as a family, we took a water taxi and we went out to the Arches. And just the perspective of the three of us, what our special moment was of that trip. And it was just, you know, we didn't have the TV on. We didn't have our phones out. Just, you know, little things like that. And when you said, you know, the getting back to the family, it just made me think of that. Just like, what was your favorite thing? And just, getting back, you know, hoping some good comes out of this.
Yeah, exactly. And when this stuff, when the smoke is cleared and this is over, I think I do want to take a vacation, because I feel like I've been in survival mode for literally like 5 years.
Oh my Lord.
You know,
where would you go?
somewhere warm with clear water.
Well, being that I go all over the Caribbean, I'll make a list for you of all the places you got to see. If you're in Grand Turk, you got to go down the beach to a place called Jack Shack. It's this little he's an expat. This guy is just living in Grand Turk, which is basically a giant sandbar, and he's got this hole in the wall little bar that, the cruise ships are way down there with all the, Panama Jacks and, Senor Frogs and blah. His place should be condemned by the health department. But he's got cheap alcohol and he's got these big metal drums that he makes the best jerked chicken in the Caribbean. And so every time we're there, we go down there just for the cheap alcohol and the best jerk chicken and dirty rice. And it seems odd. Just you think of all the places, and I've been Aruba, Curacao, Honduras. I've been everywhere. And I live for going back to this little sandbar to get some stupid jerk chicken on something that should be condemned. And
I travel will be interesting too after all this clears, because since I've gotten off the road, I really haven't had the desire to not only travel outside of my own city, but beyond the U.S. I don't really have a big desire because we were just all over the place with Skillet. And but I'd like to go. Maybe we'll just go to Seattle and just go see family or something.
Score. Yeah, my family has been bugging me too. I got to get back up to the Northwest. They're all up in Bellingham. My mom's in Port Townsend. We've got a ton of friends up there. But I've been in Texas now for oh my Lord, almost 16 years. So it's like, wow, yeah. Why? You have to stop and think about it for a minute. Like, oh my Lord. And I like to go back. Usually it's been a couple of winters since I've been snowboarding, but normally I go up there to go up to Mount Baker and, go tear up the hills. And, I might need to go up and see some family. I'm not traveling right now again.
Well, when I went to Dallas last October for breast cancer Skillet, that was really the first trip that I'd had probably in 5 years.
Wow. Well, and I will tell you that it was great. I'm glad you came down. I am glad you came down and we got to meet, because this year I had a lot of big moments, but we were on the bus and we must have talked for 30, 40 minutes. And it was like, I knew who you were, but we'd never met before. And I will tell you, I had such a blast meeting you that I was like, when the idea of us interviewing, I was like, oh, I get to interview Lori. Yes.
Well, I mean, the feeling's mutual. I met so many people that day, and leading up to it, through Facebook, and you meet people and you see their face.
But then, I'm very honest. It's called stalking.
But I want to come back this year, in some capacity. I don't really know how it works.
Yeah.
If April's going to invite me or whatever. Yeah. But if we're able to travel, I'd love to come.
Yeah. Well, even if you don't come down for that and you're in town, you got to let me know. Amy and I would love to get together with you. We'll go grab some dinner for sure and go hang out. Most definitely. Thank you so much. Would you do this again sometime?
Yeah, heck yeah. Sure.
Maybe we'll do a live thing where you can play.
Sure.
We
can pull my husband in too. You can meet him.
That'd be awesome. He's from the Northwest. Seattle fan, right on. Right?
Yep.
Oh my Lord! Yeah. Thank you for being my guest today. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. Good to see you. I think it's literally 6 months, almost to the day, since Drumathon.
Has it really been? Oh my Lord!
Well,
it seems like a million years to me because of just life. I have been a million miles. It seems like since Drumathon. Oh wow! And guess what? Yeah. We're probably only 6 months. That means we're only 6 months away from the next one. If
Yes.
And I'm hoping and praying, because really I want to get over all this. Oh my Lord! Well, thank you again. I will definitely reach out to you. We're gonna have you on again. We'll do it again. I mean,
okay.
It seems like you and I could talk forever.
Yes.
Thank you, Dallas-Fort Worth, for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed chatting with Lori. Next time we do it, though, we're going to do a live one with Lori, so you guys can ask questions, too. Again, follow us on Facebook, like our page, invite your friends to like us. If you're a local band, post your stuff there. If you want to come on the show, hit me up. Even though we're in quarantine, I'm still interviewing people. I'm just I'm in an undisclosed location.
Yeah.
And if you want, again, I'm not announcing shows, but again, if you want to keep your band's name out there, be a cover band, a tribute band, an original band. I don't care if you're into funk, metal, country, dance, hip hop. I really don't care. If you want to come on and promote, please hit me up. You can follow us we're on iHeart Radio. We're on Spotify. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Twitter. We have a Roku channel. We now have an Amazon Fire channel. And we now have a progressive web app you can download, which when all this is over, you'll be able to go in and type in your band date. There's a calendar, and it will be for any city as we grow throughout the U.S., where you can promote your band and again, bring your local music to your local community and get people off the couch. Because like I said, put down the ho-hos and the ding-dongs. By the way, all you people that are hoarding ding-dongs, I have not had one in weeks. I'm going through withdrawals. Please stop buying them. I would like to have just one box. I'm living on zebra cakes now. I'm just saying. It's horrible. I'm your host, Rick. This is Lori. We are on Concert Connection, and we will see you in the pit.
In the pit.